Today we're going to review 8 common mistakes in Infinite Galaxy, and I have been playing this game for now over a year, and I have unfortunately made a number of these mistakes, so let's get started. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and this video has been sponsored by the makers of Infinite Galaxy, and we're going to get right into 8 very common, very major mistakes that a lot of players make in Infinite Galaxy. Let's start with number 1, which is excessive fighting and city looting. When you're losing warships and you're losing resources, fighting when you don't need to be, it actually has a negative impact on your overall growth. In particular, the one time where people seem to go really overboard on this is if we make our way over to the events and get a look at the event calendar. The Galaxy Star Kill event is when people seem to spend a lot of resources fighting for no reason, and then, well, if you spend your resources fighting other players, and you spend your warships attacking player cities, but then you lose them permanently in that process, you very much hinder your long-term growth. And on the topic of warships, let's get to mistake number 2, which is going to be training too many low-tier warships. You know, look, because there is no mechanism in-game, at least as of the moment of this recording, to upgrade a warship from a lower tier to a higher tier, if you train lots of, and I say train, but if you use speed-ups to do a lot of low-tier warships, you're actually going to find yourself in a situation that's kind of weird. Once you do eventually tech up, you're going to wish that you had trained higher-tier stuff. And I actually used a ton of speed-ups on tier 9 destroyers, made a bunch of these, and now I have tier 10s, and it's like, could I have maybe just been more patient and trained them when I got to tier 10? Now, tier 10 is a very long time away. So I think if you're speeding up warships that are T8 or lower, I would maybe pump the brakes on that, unless you're just a really big whale. Consider instead those T9s, T10s, because you are going to need so many warships for Outermost Crusade. You're going to need so many warships for the Galaxy Summit when you reach the end game. You are going to wish that you had held on to those, which brings us to the 3rd mistake. On the topic of building warships, you are going to need a lot of resources to do that. And you also need a ton of resources to upgrade pretty much everything in your spaceport. From the buildings, which require absolutely ludicrous amounts of resources at the very top end, to even the research, which also can require some very ludicrous amounts of resources. In fact, some of the remaining military technology I have, and I am nearly max tech at this point, includes many millions of resources over here. Look at this. To get even just 1% of navigation speed, we're talking about 35.6 million titanium and 42.4 million deuterium. You get the idea here. It's a lot of resources. So, the mistake is to not make a farm. You need lots of resources. You need one or more farm accounts. The great news of this game is that in this regard, it's very free-to-play friendly because farm accounts and resources are your bottleneck to progress on research, typically not speed-ups. Typically, speed-ups are not the bottleneck to progress on things in your buildings. It's actually the resources. Often I'm just not even building things here. So in this regard, the game is very free-to-play friendly, and you should take advantage of that by having farm accounts, which you then plunder with your main account in order to get those resources over to the main account. 100% wish I had done that. I didn't. I'm generally a very busy human, and so I didn't have time for it. If you don't have time for it, that's fine. But keep in mind that you gain just a ridiculous amount of progress with that extra farm account. And while we're looking at the buildings, mistake number 4 is not leveling up your military headquarters. This is a building that requires shockingly little resources in the grand scheme of things. Every time that you level up your command center, you should probably, very shortly thereafter, level up your military center or headquarters as well. It gives you more fleet leadership limit, which is just amazing in the really any stage of the game. I was going to say the end game, but all over the place. It's just very good. And this brings us to mistake number 5. Now, this is one that I only recently discovered I was making, and it's actually really hindered my progress, which is that your captains should be very high level, at least for your one flagship pair that you use in the Galaxy Summit. You should have at least one flagship pair with at least one primary captain for the primary flagship that is leveled up a lot. I am working on remedying that now. Laura is almost certainly going to be one of the captains that I do there. And she's level 32, but I would really like to take her all the way up to level 40 and then figure out maybe I do the second commander as well, because, man, when you play the Galaxy Summit, the name of the game is the quantity of warships you can bring. It makes such a big difference. So don't make the same mistake I did. Level up your primary flagship captain as a high priority relative to other things. And on the topic of flagships, I swear I did not arrange this to have such natural segues, but here we go. On the topic of flagships, it's a huge mistake to invest in too many. You can see here that I have very tactically gone in and focused on one flagship after another, and taken them to max or nearly max. And keep in mind, I have been playing this game for a very long time, which is why, in part, my account is so developed. And I've also been spending in this game, but what I would recommend here is that you not spread around your investments too much. What I mean by that is you probably pick one legendary flagship and one epic flagship. You work on the two of those, get your Galaxy Summit pair together. That way you're kind of ready for that. And if you don't know what the Galaxy Summit is, it's an alliance versus alliance game mode. Okay, get that one pair you have ready for that, so that that's in sort of top fighting shape, and then you can start to explore other pairs and put other priorities around. And that includes, by the way, leveling up the flagships themselves, which I did fairly naturally over time, smashing pirates, as I sort of leveled up my flagship center, which, let me get the exact name of the building here. It is, the flagship dock. I was close. When you level this up, it increases the maximum level of your flagship all the way up to a maximum level of 60. And on the topic of your flagships, mistake number 7 in Infinite Galaxy, this is a big one, is using mismatched outfitting and warships. Now, at the time of this recording, and I recognize that this may change by the time you're watching this, the way that this works is that your outfitting does a specific type of weapon damage. And if your warships do a different type of damage, then this doesn't help you. So for example, if I'm using these kinetic energy cannons, which all boost kinetic damage, but actually I only have T9 frigates, well, T9 frigates do missile damage, at least at the time of this recording, which means you are losing out on all the benefit of the outfitting from your flagship from an offensive punch standpoint. For the most part, that's not entirely true. The guns themselves do some extra damage, but they also give bonus stats, and those bonus stats are what you're missing. And those bonus stats are a big deal. So make sure that as you're building out your outfitting and figuring out what you want that picture to look like, that you ultimately are taking into consideration the tier of warship that you have and the type of weapon that is on that warship, as well as the outfitting you have on your flagships, where you're going to be putting those specific warships to make sure that those are aligned perfectly. On the topic of alignment, I actually made a segue between every one of these. The 8th greatest mistake that you can make in Infinite Galaxy is to lack Nebula Unity. We have a tremendous amount of Nebula Unity, I would say, in Nebula 13. Compared to other Nebulas, that's certainly the case. We're not perfect, and we're probably not the best Nebula in the game, but we're pretty freaking awesome in the grand scheme of things. I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back, but we have a pretty decent Outermost Crusade ranking. In fact, for those of you that don't know, and the reason that I'm talking about Nebula Unity is because one of the greatest game modes, the creme de la creme, the big show, is the Outermost Crusade, and that is because your nebula is battling against other nebulas, and you're all working together as a nebula against other nebulas. Now, if you go to the rankings, you can see over here, scroll down, Crusade ranking, Outermost Crusade. I mean, we're ranked 4th right now, which again, there are better than us. In fact, we just lost to Nebula 5 today, but we're really strong in the grand scheme of things. That's a great ranking overall. So just keep in mind as you are exploring space and your nebula that eventually these are all people you're going to need to be friends with. You're going to need to team up in the nebula. There is no migration from one nebula to another. These are the people you're playing with. And so you may as well get to know them and become good friends, because you will count on them in the Outermost Crusade to show up and fight for the team. Now, before I wrap up this video, I did want to do one last thing, which is spin the Syracuse Lucky Wheel. It really has nothing to do with the rest of the video, but you might be interested in seeing what this actually looks like, and I figured, what the heck, why not? Here we go, Syracuse Lucky Wheel. I already went and purchased my cubes, which you can get over here. Also, you can use corium, a small amount of corium. Well, I say small amount. It's really a small amount of these cubes you can buy with corium every day. I forget what the price is, but it's not particularly cheap. But anyways, Let's spin this thing and see how we do here. Okay, double building speed ups is not amazing. Double resources is fine. For the Poseidon is fine. Maybe we can do a little bit better, perhaps. We've got titanium steel, flagship energy cores twice, nickel steel, and building speed ups. I actually need the crew experience, or not crew experience, the flagship experience, so I'm cool with that. And here's the tiered reward. Let's freaking go. 25 of those Poseidon blueprints. Okay, and plasma. We've got energy cores, titanium steel, nickel steel, building speeds. I really don't need any of those unless they add more spaceport levels, which, like, that would be a reason to have building speeds. More building speeds, 6 flagship blueprints, 2 legendary outfitting crates. Pog. Okay, smash the button. Let's keep going here. What do we got? 2 legendary outfitting crates. Dude, I'm hyped for that. And 3 flagship energy cores. Actually, I love this. As a great pull. Right there's an amazing pull. And let's open this up. What do we get? Sure. 30 flagship blueprints, 2 resource crates, whatever. Let's keep going. Double titanium steel, double flagship energy cores, and building speed ups, whatever. Crack it open. Double titanium, nickel, steel, deuterium, and building speeds. I mean, I do need resources still, which is insane, but at some point I won't. That's not even true. I mean, you basically need resources for the rest of time. I'll take it. 2 legendary outfitting crates. I'll take that. Energy cores, deuterium, building speed ups. Pog. Let's keep going. What do we get? Oh, now that's a great spin right there. Hello. Okay, so we're looking at 14 of the Poseidon blueprints. That's what I'm talking about. And legendary flagship outfitting is amazing. Crack this open. We get more of the Poseidon. Let's freaking go. 40 Poseidon blueprints. I like the Poseidon. I think it's a fine flagship. I, at one point in time, thought it might be the best flagship, but I don't think it is at this moment in time. 2 crew, well, I guess 1 of the crew training course, which is 2x 240 experience. I got the flagship energy cores double? No, just 1 of the flagship outfitting, 2 flagship blueprints, and nickel steel. Okay, sweet. What do we got? Do it again. Crew training experience. Plasma crates, 4 Poseidon blueprints, and a double on the energy cores. I will take it. Smash the button. Keep going. Nickel steel, double deuterium, building speed ups, and the flagship energy cores. Okay. Again, double energy cores, nickel steel, deuterium, and 4 flagship blueprints. Feels like I'm low on the flagship blueprints this run. And titanium steel. Yeah, ooh, okay. 8 Poseidon blueprints. I like that. Building speeds and energy cores. I would love if they swapped out the building speeds for shipbuilding speeds. Like, you would always need shipbuilding speeds for the rest of time. So that would be a really cool swap if they made that. Okay, and crack it open. Titanium steel, flagship outfitting crate, 4 Poseidon blueprints, crew training course, and energy core. Cool. We have 5 chances remaining today, so let's just get her done. Boom. Building speed, we've got 4 flagship blueprints and 2 of the energy cores. So that gives me a pretty decent amount of this particular flagship. I will leave you at the tail end of this video with one bonus tip. I forgot. And now that I'm looking at flagships, I remember that the big mistake that people still make, this is mistake number 9, the bonus mistake, is that they upgrade things like their flagships off cycle from the Galaxy Star. And the reason you do that is that the Outermost Crusade is right before the Galaxy Star. So anything that you typically get after Galaxy Star ends and before the next Outermost Crusade, you might be tempted to make those upgrades because you want them for Outermost Crusade, but you don't really get event credit for them unless you're in a Galaxy Star, typically. So the final mistake is to not hoard stuff to use during Galaxy Star, and it's a random Tuesday and you make an upgrade to something. Like, try to wait until there is an event and then move in on whatever upgrade it is that you're doing during the event. So, for example, I probably got enough Poseidon to do an upgrade. No, I didn't. Just kidding. Well, if I upgraded my Poseidon now, it will be off cycle anyways from when the Galaxy Star is. You want to wait to do things generally until it's in cycle with an event. If you enjoyed this video, throw a like on here and consider subscribing for more Infinite Galaxy videos designed to help you get value and smash your enemies. And if you're looking for another Infinite Galaxy video, I'll have a card up in the top for a video. I haven't decided what it is yet, but you'll probably enjoy it. It'll be related to being a better player in the game. Let's freaking go.